Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Tech Talk session with me, Tripti Suna, your host from Tech Jobs Fair. And today, I'm super excited to introduce our guest speaker, Miss Kelly Redden. Throughout her 20 years of career, Kelly advocated, taught, coached, and mentored children, teens, and adults on the autism spectrum, and more recently, those with ADHD. She has worked with hundreds of individuals throughout 13 countries. Hello, Kelly. How are you doing today? Thank you so
Hi,
much for joining
fantastic.
us.
Yeah, fantastic. Glad to be here. Always happy to talk about my work.
We're super thrilled to have you today joining us. And I'm pretty sure the topic that we'll be discussing today is quite different from what we've been doing in the past sessions. So, in today's session, we will explore how organizations can better accommodate neurodivergent staff. In recent years, there has been a growing recognition of the importance of neurodiversity in workplace. So, I'm very excited and interested to dive into this crucial conversation and explore how we can make our offices more accommodating for everyone. So, and I'm pretty sure Kelly has a lot of insights to share with our viewers. And guys, if you have any questions in your mind while we go through the session, please feel free to comment down your questions. And I'm pretty sure Kelly is here to help you guys and answer them all right. But before we dive into this conversation, Kelly, why don't you share a little more about yourself, your journey so far in the industry, and why this specific, field that you've chosen in your journey?
Okay, so thank you. I've been working in this field for 20 years, as Tripti said, and work with children first, and now more recently in the past 4 or 5 years with teens and adults. And I was just drawn to children with autism 20 years ago. I graduated as a history teacher. And even though I loved history myself, I didn't really enjoy teaching it. I came across an all autistic classroom in the school I was teaching in. And that's when I got really interested in it. And that's when I went to get my first degree. And then I went on to get my master's in special education for children with autism.
Great. Thank you so much. And I think it's really interesting that we will be having this discussion, and it's really important to aware people, about certain things going on and how we can embrace it and make it much more beautiful, right?
Yeah,
So,
definitely. And it's so easy. There's a lot of myths and misconceptions out there about how to accommodate, and it's really just helping people. It's very simple. It's not as
yeah,
complicated or expensive as people think it is. You
yeah,
just
that's true.
hire someone like me, and I will take care of everything. I will take care of the coaching and the training. And it makes a huge difference because you have the power to make a real difference in someone's life. And that's a
Yeah,
powerful thing to have, right? As an employer, as a manager, as somebody in HR. And I can help people in all aspects of the recruitment process, as well as people that are already employed, to help them out, right? Some people with these neurodiversities have issues with executive functioning, which is problems with prioritizing, problem solving, time management, things like this. And they're so easy to overcome. They're so easy, and all it does is it enhances their quality of life. And as a
yeah.
business, it enhances your productivity for your employee, makes them happier, makes them want to stay. There's less turnover, there's higher retention rates, there's higher productivity. It's a win-win situation.
Got it. Now, can you highlight a little more about autism or ADHD or dyslexia?
Yeah. So these are neurodiversities, right? This was the way people were born. It's not acquired. There's no increase in this. It's just it's becoming easier to diagnose, and some people actually self-diagnose. So
Yeah,
autism is not a medical condition. It can't be cured medically, right? But with ADHD, you can take medication, which can help you focus and things like that, and feel a little bit less anxious. And then with dyslexia, that's something that your brain just cannot connect the letter with the sound of the letter, right? So that's why people have difficulty reading, but it has absolutely nothing to do with your level of intelligence. And that's that's the goal in my work, is to say, listen, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and I'd like to clear that up, because people with neurodiversity have just as much skill as everyone else does. And sometimes a little bit even keener problem solving. People are good at spotting bugs in systems. People are good at pattern recognition. There's just a wealth of benefits that you can reap from expanding your talent pool, including more diverse employees.
Mhm. So, does your organization also accommodate a neurodiverse staff? If yes, how do they do it?
No, I'm self-employed, but I've been working with ThoughtWorks as their neurodiversity coach for their US and Canadian offices.
Mhm.
And if you go on my LinkedIn page, you can read the recent references that people have written. And it's fantastic, because I'm neurodiverse myself. And so I can really relate to the issues that people are having, right? It's
Right.
easy, it's simple. As an employer, all you have to do is say, yeah, I'm going to hire you a coach. Tell her what you need. 3 months later, if you're going to feel a lot better, that person is going to feel supported, understood. And your company, a lot of people, the trend in 2025 is a lot of people are looking for companies that are inclusive and support diversity, programs. So that's really important for employers to think about.
Yeah. And how do you help the employers or the organization to, hire staffs? And what would be your tips for, other organizations who haven't started this regime yet, but it could be an opportunity for them to think about it and, take this in process on hiring or accommodating neurodiverse staff.
Yeah, it's very simple. Just attend a training. I offer training, and I have a training package that lasts for about an hour. You get very good, solid information. It's curated resources that I use. Like I said, I've been doing this for 20 years. Um, you go through the training to just be more well prepared and well informed about what these actually are and what people actually need. And it's, for me, it's a societal obligation, right? We're all here together. If you know,
Yeah.
if I need help with, say, marketing, well, I'm not trained in marketing, right? So I hire somebody to do my marketing. It's the same with people with neurodiversity. Well, if your employer doesn't know about it, hire someone like me, and I can come in and pretty much take care of everything. So people just need to have good, solid information about neurodiversity. All they have to do is be curious and have empathy. It's very simple. We all have it. And just say, hey, sometime in life, everybody's going to need help with something, right? There's no denying that. What if I broke my arm and I wasn't able to type at work? I wasn't able to use a keyboard. Or what if I broke my leg? I can't get up the steps, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's going to have some sort of disability sometime in their life. So we need to make sure, as a society, for the economy, that we get as much people into the workplace as possible and stop systematically excluding people, because the way job ads are written, or the way the recruitment process is done. Because a lot of times people can't get through that first HR phone call, because maybe somebody, people with autism, sometimes don't like to make eye contact, or don't understand jokes, or don't smile a lot, or are not good at chit
Yeah.
chat. Just for example, and that's not everybody, that's just an example. It's very difficult for them to get into the job market. So if just raising awareness with training is all you need to do. It's really, really simple.
That's right. So having them on board and then simultaneously also having the training going on for them, right?
Hmm. Yeah, and just having coaching and support, and just knowing somebody is there for them. Just, we're human, right? We're social
Yeah,
beings. We're not just commodities, right? We're human
yeah,
beings. And
see,
there's a lot of
absolutely.
human beings that are neurodiverse that can't get into the workforce, or there's a lot of misunderstandings in the workplace, right? So
Yeah,
if somebody has a colleague that maybe doesn't smile, or doesn't go out for drinks afterwards, or there's all these inferences made that are mostly incorrect, right? Well, maybe that
yeah,
person is neurodiverse, and they've spent all their energy at work for 8 hours, and they have to go home and just crash for 4 hours because they've been expending so much energy at work, right? So we need to make
Absolutely.
sure that we're not making these incorrect assumptions about other people's behavior.
Yeah. We definitely need to bridge that gap and then create a healthy workspace for everyone, right?
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
that's
And
needed.
if somebody needs a certain chair, or they need 3 screens at work because that's what makes their work easier, then that's what you do, right? It's no different. It's no different than has someone wearing glasses or a hearing aid or using a wheelchair.
Yeah.
It's just that these three happen to be invisible neurodiversities. And so people, there's a lot of incorrect differences being made about why they need something, right? Well, if they attended a training, I could tell you exactly why they need that, right? So we wouldn't deny someone their glasses, hearing aid, or wheelchair. So why are we denying people coaching and support at work?
Yeah, that's true. Can you tell us a little more about ERGs for staff?
Sure. Employee resource groups are really, really helpful. It gives
Mhm.
people a network of support. And like I said, I work with ThoughtWorks, and I've been working with them for 2.5 years as their coach, as a contracted coach. And they have something called Spectrum, which is an employee resource group. And it allows them to have a community where they can share their ideas, they can share support, they can learn from each other. And that's really powerful when you have that. When you have this camaraderie, this support at work, it's only going to
Mhm.
benefit you at work. It's only going to increase your productivity. It's only going to increase your social impact. And you're gonna attract a different pool of talent, and that's really important now. Technology is just it's AI is just amazing. I use it all the time. We're going to need a lot more technologists in the future, and the more neurodiverse friendly our companies are, the better, the easier it's going to be to attract that type of talent and maintain it, because
Yeah.
turnover is expensive, right? There's no argument there.
Yeah. Right. So, in terms of, let's say, being an employer who starts hiring or accommodating neurodiverse staff, do they, there are any barriers that they can come across or they might face in this process?
Barriers and what? I'm sorry.
Like any barriers like they can face in becoming an inclusive employer?
Yeah, on the employer side, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
because there's a
Like
lot.
starting to hire and then because that's a big step they're taking, right? And they
Yes.
are like, let's say, just for instance, one in a million, right?
Mhm.
So if they are that small group of people or employers, if there are any barriers that they come across, what are those and maybe how can they overcome it also?
Well, it's the barriers that are usually their mindsets, right? And I understand that, but we need to get over that. It's 2025, right? We need to make sure that everybody's taken care of, and
Yeah.
just showing curiosity, saying to someone, if someone comes, if let's say we're in a work situation and an employee comes up to the HR and says, "I'm autistic. Is there any help for me?" Right? All they have to do is reply with curiosity and empathy. That's all it takes, because people are afraid to say something wrong. I think it's kind of like a minefield, right? Because
Hmm.
everybody is using different terminology, and I can also teach that, right? But it's usually an individual preference. Some people don't like to be called disabled if they're autistic. Some people don't like to say, I'm an autistic adult, or I'm an adult with autism, right? There's a lot of subtleties, but all you really need to do is be curious and say to that employee, I'm sorry, I'm really glad that you came to me, that you felt safe enough to say that. How can I help you? Can you explain it to me? Because I don't really know. I don't know about autism, but I would love to learn about it. That's all you have to
Yeah.
do, is be curious and empathetic, and have some, but don't apologize, right? That's not the right thing to do. Don't say, I'm sorry you have autism, right? Um,
Yeah. Just
but
open to
there's certain
learning.
things that can be taught very, very easily. And that's included in my
Yeah.
training.
I like they just have to have that mindset when they're open to learning and understanding new things if they're unaware of it, rather just being sorry about it.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think there are a lot of people who are reluctant to discuss about neurodiversity, right? And how can someone like you, a career coach, like a special career coach, in discussing neurodiversity can help in that for people who are reluctant to discuss about neurodiversity?
Like from an employer perspective or from an employee perspective?
And like we could do both.
Okay. Yeah. Well, the way that I work is that people are referred to me, right? So they ask
Mhm.
it's called people support at ThoughtWorks, and they say, okay, I have ADHD and I would like some coaching, and then they refer them to me. So then, just my process, I think will answer your question, is that I send them a questionnaire and they come back, and then I design a program. I design each individual program for each person. There's not a one size fits all. And so I'm only interested in things they're comfortable with sharing with me, right? I don't
Yeah,
pry. I don't say, is there anything else? Nothing like that, because a coach is different than a therapist. I don't work on
yeah,
history or childhoods or anything like that. And because I share my own experience as well, and I can give them a lot of tips on how to address their neurodiversity in a healthy way, because I was just diagnosed as being neurodiverse about 6 months ago. So I can share with them, and they feel a lot more comfortable because they don't have to ever explain anything to me. If you try to explain your neurodiversity to someone that's not neurodiverse or doesn't really have any good information about it, it can be very difficult and uncomfortable and awkward. But with me, they feel very comfortable because I build trust very quickly because I share my personal experience as well.
that's true. And just out of curiosity, so we see a lot of coaches this time, right? Career coaches, like tons of career coaches. But do you also think like the same career coaches could take specialization in coaching neurodiversity people, or or let's say any executive or leaders, so that we have more options for the talents to, let's say, train or coach themselves before they apply for any jobs, and then being on that verge, rather the company will accept me, or whether do they have programs as such where there will be some kind of coaching or something happening after I get onboarded, but they're just like on the safer side, already coaching and training themselves and then applying for jobs, so that it becomes like they can just be like a one step ahead. So is that also possible? And are there any coaches like because I think I'm not really sure of the percentage of coaches that we have for neurodiversity, because I'm pretty sure that we have a lot of career coaches, right?
Mhm.
So what would be yours, like, suggestion on that, like taking the coaching before they're applying or going for an interview?
Yeah, taking coaching before is also really advisable because I can support people through the recruitment process, right? Because
Yeah,
that's really nobody likes going through interviews and things like that, right? Like it's not the most
yeah,
enjoyable experience. But that's changing. That's changing. People are having more project-based interviews, like, Microsoft and Google, Deutsche Bank. All these places have autism hiring programs, right? But not everybody wants to do that, because if they engage in that, then they're outing themselves by saying I'm autistic. Some people just want to go
yeah,
through a regular recruitment process, right?
yes, yes,
And there's companies that are now using all AI for their recruitment. And there's maybe some human contact in the back end, but it's more, it's self-paced, which is really nice. But, to be do you need to make sure that you're getting the right resources when you want to learn about neurodiversity? Because there's a lot of misinformation on the internet, and there's a lot
yeah.
of negativity. And I've got a whole bank of resources, and I've got a company profile I can send out to people that have good, solid resources. If they want to learn about it, all you have to do is get these sources. There's like 6 resources, very easy to obtain, and you can learn exactly what you need to know about autism, ADHD, and dyslexia. And then you're set with solid information that's reliable.
How often do you provide trainings or coachings on neurodiversity?
All the time. All the time. I've done it throughout my 20-year career. Even as a teacher, when I was working, I trained some teachers in Senegal. I trained teachers in Bulgaria. I trained some teachers in Belgium as well. I'm always offering trainings to people because that's the first place, right? If people want to know, where do I start as an employer, get training.
Yeah,
That's the first step,
that's true.
because then you have a solid bank of information. You know
Yeah,
exactly what the definitions are, what it is, what it isn't, what people are capable of. Then you can say, okay, now I'm going to offer support to my employees. What does that take? It takes hiring a coach and getting them help. It's really easy.
yeah. I mean, that might just change their perspective all at once. Yeah, getting that solid information and not just relying on everything that they see on internet.
Yeah, I mean, and if you think about it, Simone Biles has ADHD. I mean, people can achieve it. We're
Yeah,
just like everyone else. We're just neurodiverse, right? It's not an us and them. It's a we,
yeah,
right? We have to start thinking about society as a whole,
exactly.
and we need to support each other. There's 186 million autistic people globally, right? That's a lot of people, and if we have
Absolutely,
people,
absolutely.
yeah, if we have people that can't get jobs, then they're going to be on government benefits. Well, who does that benefit? That benefits no one, right?
True.
So we
Yeah,
need to look after each other. It's very simple. It's very simple. And with everything and all the geopolitical issues going on in the world right now, it's even more important that we support each other and try to understand each other, instead of saying to yourself, well, I don't understand that and it makes me uncomfortable, so I don't want to deal with it. Right? It's
yeah.
easy. I can show you how. I can take care of everything.
I think we have a question here from one of our attendees or viewers. I'm just highlighting here. Would you like to read it and then maybe answer it as we go along?
Sure. Me and wanting to move towards an inclusive environment. Yes, yes, and that's the first step, right? That's a good question. Thanks, Lenore. It's about moving your company from more traditional, like a corporate, I think, company, to a more inclusive one. It's easy. Get the top people involved, get the C-suite people involved, and and offer training, and I can tell them how easy this transition is, right? It starts with knowledge. It starts with raising awareness and dispelling myths and misperceptions about people. That's where it starts. It's really easy. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I have like one last question for you because you did mention earlier in our conversation that neurodiverse staff they tend to have higher retention and productivity rates, and also offer innovate and creative solutions to a lot of let's say problems or questions, right? So, can you enlighten us a little more on that, so that the employers or the organizations have an idea how do they have more retention and productivity rates?
Yeah, because and I don't want to stereotype, right? So I don't want to offend anybody, but sometimes people with neurodiversity have the ability to hyperfocus. I can get more done in 4 hours some days than most people can get in 10.
Yeah.
Because I have that ability. And as far as like small talk, I'm not good at small talk, right? I don't really like small talk. If you want to talk about Churchill during World War One or two, or if you want to talk about Chernobyl, things that are, I'm very into history, things that are interesting to me, I can engage in a conversation with you. Small talk, not so much. So when I go to work, I just want to work. I'm not there to socialize. I'm not there to engage in office politics. I just want to focus. So those are
Wow.
just two examples of why people with neurodiversity can be have higher productivity rates and lower turnover, because we're just there to work, right? There's
Yeah.
no,
It might work as a superpower instead.
yeah, and like, I don't want to stereotype, because there's probably lots of different reasons why that is, but a lot of times people with autism or ADHD or dyslexia have had a really negative work history. So when they find a company that actually supports them and has supports in place, they're going to stay. Who wants to
Yeah.
change jobs? That's a nightmare for most people, unless you're doing a career move, I guess. You want to get higher in career, and it's not happening at your present company, so you have to change. But there's a lot of different reasons why there's so many advantages to hiring people with neurodiversity. Like I said, the creativity, the innovative thinking, problem solving. I mean, I come up with problem solving when I'm running, and I'll think of something, and it's your creativity. It sparks your creativity. Neurodiversity
Yeah,
does. Yeah.
because the answer you gave will not just help, like, help employers to understand why they should hire, talents with neurodiversity, but I think it also help the talents to, change their weakness into strength and then present themselves at interviews that, I can focus on my work. So that works as a strength and a plus point for them also. So, they can think about it from this. It's like I like your answer could work for both, both the ways, for employees as well as for the employees. So yeah, I think that was brilliant. And yeah, I think we covered a pretty like time is very limited, and this is a vast topic that we can discuss about, and we can definitely come up with another session of course in the future. Covering a much more deeper into, let's say, just maybe one topic or one subtopic of the
Mhm.
entire umbrella of neurodiversity. And yes, this was an amazing session, Kelly. Your insights were absolutely amazing. But like
Oh,
I
thanks.
mentioned, due to some time limitations, we have to bring the session to an end. However, before we wrap this up, is there anything that you would like to add from your end to all of our viewers so that they can have like a better place for everyone,
Yeah, just
better workplace?
yeah, let's help each other out here. Let's just be curious, be friendly, be open. Let's help each other out, right? Because it's only going to benefit society. And I think as a society, that's our duty. It's a moral imperative, right? Let's uphold the UN sustainable development goals and have equal pay and equal work for everybody.
Yes. And guys, please, feel free to network and connect with Kelly to understand more about it, or like, how you can take ahead your like neurodiverse situation in terms of career development, or how you can enhance your grid in terms of career building. So you can, I think, always connect and network with Kelly, right? I think I can also see her QR already, so you can zoom in and scan. You can directly connect with her. It's digital world, you know. So yeah, thank you so much, Kelly. It was amazing having you today with our session, and I really look forward to any future, discussion. And it was an amazing session of us all together. Thank you so
Oh,
much for joining us today.
thank you. I like talking about it. It's my passion.
But I learned a lot personally from today's session. So yeah, I'm glad that we could host this, we could invite you, and you shared so much, in this short time, so much about neurodiversity.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for watching us. I will see you all in the next session. And yeah, until then, take care and bye.
Thank you.